Spiritually awakened to me means that a person has become aware that life is deeper, has deeper meaning, right? It's deeper than the surface level, right? It's deeper than survival. It's deeper than ego. It's deeper than social conditioning. It's deeper than emotional reaction. It's deeper than material success, right? It's deeper than your everyday autopilot. It means to me that a person begins to recognize, and when I say recognize, they recognize that, you know what? Things like thoughts. Every thought isn't always truth, right? You begin to recognize that emotions are just information. Wounds affect your perception and how you see life, right? Your ego can distort your reality. It means that habits can come from conditioning. It means that purpose requires responsibility. Like, these are the things that you become aware of when you become spiritually awakened, at least for me in my journey, right? You begin to be aware that your spirit needs alignment. What is alignment, right? Life has meaning. Beyond performing for others. Meaning beyond being a people pleaser and pleasing everybody, right? To be spiritually awakened to me means your relationship with the Most High, with spirit, requires sincerity, genuineness, right? And not just appearance, right? To me, when a person is spiritually awakened, it means that they begin to see beyond the surface of life, right? That's put in front of us. They start becoming conscious of truth, conscious of the self, conscious of their purpose, conscious of their alignment, conscious of their spiritual responsibility, right? It's not about just knowing stuff, knowing spiritual stuff, right? It's beyond that to me, right? It's about becoming aware of how you living, how you really living, right? How you thinking, how you choosing your choices, how you love, how you react, how you heal, how you speak, how you serve, right? How you of service. But one of the main things about spiritual awakening is that you're always growing. And I'm speaking from my perspective. Always growing, right? But you're still human while you're growing. You dig what I'm saying? So you still gonna need correction, right? But you still gonna need humility. Because we get on our high horses at times as humans, right? We still need to feel humanity for others. You dig what I'm saying? We still need to be up on our spiritual hygiene, right? And you learn this in your spiritual awakening, on your spiritual journey, right? The power of prayer, the power of reflection, the power of accountability, the power of responsibility, the power of, you know what? How I need to take care of myself spiritually, spiritual hygiene, right? To me, spiritual awakeness or being spiritual awake is not knowing just the esoteric things like angel numbers and tarot and all the other stuff. It's not just knowing that. It's not just having crystals. It's not just talking about energy. It's not just calling yourself chosen. It's not just seeing signs everywhere. It's not just rejecting religion, right? It's not being anti-church. It's not just reading spiritual literature, right? It's not just having dreams. It's not just calling everyone else sleep, right? It's not your typical thing, right? The real evidence of spiritual awakening, right, is character. Somebody say character. The real evidence is discernment, humility, right? Integrity, emotional maturity, accountability, compassion, self-awareness, responsible actions, alignment with truth. Just to name a few, you know what I mean? And everyone's on a journey. And you may be like, you know what? How do I know I'm on the right journey? And I'm going to just share some things that I've noticed about myself on my spiritual journey, right? Like things that I know for sure that I know I'm on a spiritual journey is my reactions change. I pause before I react, right? Because a lot of times I used to just bang, 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 got him. You know what I mean? I question my own motives. Why am I even doing this? Why am I making this video? Why am I saying this? Why did I do this? Why am I thinking this? Right? I gotta stop. I stopped blaming things outside myself, people outside of me for a lot of things. Got honest with myself about where I'm wounded at, right? I desired the truth more than I desired conflict. I don't want to argue. I just want to get down to what's true, right? I feel less satisfied with just the mundane things of life, right? I became more sensitive to being misaligned. How did I do that? I had to go through and figure out what's my core values, what I stand for, right? When I'm on my spiritual journey, and I knew that I'm on my spiritual journey, I started protecting my peace. And there was no guidebook really for that. Like, these are the things I'm just observing. You know, I'm like, dang, my peace is more important. I need to go ahead and leave this job. My peace is more important. I need to go ahead and end this relationship. My peace is more important. I need to distance these group of people because it has a high potential to disturbing my peace. Come on, somebody, right? My relationship with the Most High, my spirit team, became more sincere, more genuine, and less performative. You know, I don't like, oh snap, walking outside in this bug, my bad. I became more in tune with the animals and insects, but still, I'm still working on it though. You know what I mean? See that big thing right there? Excuse me. Whew. I want my life to mean something. I noticed that too. Like, what does my life mean? Right? And what I mean by what my life mean, like, what am I giving back? Right? And not just to the people that are around me, but how can I give back? But there's a balance to that too, right? I think you start to learn about balance too. You dig what I'm saying? During my spiritual journey, I learned about compassion for myself, compassion for others, right? But more so on my spiritual journey, I learned about boundaries. And these are the things I've learned that I know that, you know what, I'm focused on. I'm on a spiritual journey. I'm awakened, right? But I'm still maturing, right? I'm still learning. I'm still experiencing, right? So I just wanted to share that. Because a lot of times when you're on your spiritual journey, sometimes you be like, am I? Is this it? You know, sometimes you think you done mastered it, right? And then your journey show you, you ain't mastered nothing yet, bruh. You ain't mastered this yet, sis. I'm not gonna say nothing, right? But there's always another level to it, you know? And yes, I'm not afraid, at least for me, to invite that learning experience, to invite that experience that's in alignment with my growth. Growth becomes Very important, if not the most important to me on my spiritual journey. Growth, right? And I'm not talking about obsessive growth in that sense. I'm talking about growth in action, right? Growth in action. And growth in action means like, okay, I've experienced something. I've learned something. I've been through these experiences. Now when this experience come again, how will I react different? Or how will I react? Will I react the same way? Will I do the same things? Right? Or have I learned? Right? And learning means, you know what? Not to do the thing that I did before because it didn't work. Right? But it takes a pause. It takes a reflection. Right? It takes sorting out your emotions. And you sort your emotions out, and then you figure out, okay, this is what this emotion means. That's what that emotion means. Okay. And then you just do your best. That's it. Without stressing. Yeah, we still stress here and there. I ain't gonna lie. But you learn how to stress less. Right? And that's part of the journey too. You know what I mean? At least for me. It's so much more. So I don't want this to be the one all. You know what I mean? It's so much more. So much more I ain't mentioned. You know what I mean? So appreciate y'all. Thank you. Peace.